Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Edge Finder. Happy birthday to you. Woo!
That's right, we've got our anniversary sale happening right now, and you can get 40% off the market scanning software, the Edge Finder, for a limited time. If you're interested, check out the Chat with My Team link in the description below. You'll automatically be connected with someone who can tell you more about this amazing offer and get you set up with the Edge Finder for yourself. Now, let's get into the news. We have lots of big news events happening to kick off the month, but first, let's start with Swiss CPI numbers that dropped last night down to 0.2%. ISM manufacturing PMI numbers were just released here in the US, and they came out a little lower than expected at 46.3. Tomorrow, we have two interest rate decisions happening. First, in Australia, where interest rates are expected to remain the same at 3.6%. New Zealand, on the other hand, is expected to raise interest rates 25 basis points up to 5%. Also happening tomorrow is the JOLTS jobs openings report ahead of NFP happening later on this week. Moving into Wednesday, ADP non-farm employment and ISM services PMI are happening here in the US. And rounding out the week on Thursday, we have new Canadian unemployment rate. And on Friday, we'll get the US unemployment data. Remember, you can watch us stream these events live as they're happening right here on the A1 Trading YouTube channel. So here we go into the Edge Finder. We're going to start off with the market heat map first. Check out how all of our assets are trending so far today. And up here towards the top left, this is our biggest mover of the day so far, and it's Aussie US, followed by Aussie Swiss, Aussie Yen, Gold, Aussie NZD, and Aussie CAD. So Australian dollar crosses certainly seem to be making moves towards the upside so far today. Aussie US being the biggest mover to the upside so far, up 1.44% on the day. Taking a look down here towards the bottom, I'm seeing Euro AUD and GBP AUD. Those are our two biggest movers to the downside, still Australian crosses. So Australian dollar flying off the shelves today, apparently. USD CAD, USD JPY, USD CHF, and NZD CAD are following as our other biggest movers to the downside so far today. Euro AUD is the biggest, though, down 0.95% on the day so far. Let's check out the US indices really quickly. US 30 is up 0.68%. That is the biggest mover out of our indices so far. S&P 500 is pretty much neutral. It's technically down 0.01%, but pretty much neutral on the day, and the NASDAQ is actually down 0.85% on the day, so NASDAQ down somewhat significantly on the day. So yeah, guys, Edge Finder, it's 40% off for a limited time right now. You can get access to our watch list, the market heat map that we just checked out. Score chart, which is similar to the market heat map. We have economic news tab, so you can stay up to date with all of the important news events that cause crazy shifts in the market. We have COT data, retail sentiment, bank signals, seasonality, price forecast, the risk on, risk off gauge. We have all of our fundamentals, the Fed tracker, and of course we have all of our currency breakdowns, major pairs, minor pairs, indices, and commodities, all here along with our historical backtest where you can see the actual price change along with the Edge Finder score, so that you know that as when the Edge Finder is telling you it's a buy, it's because it's actually trending in the right direction. And we have all of this other information to back that up as well. So yeah, if you're interested in getting the Edge Finder, this is day one of our huge, massive 40% off sale. It is for a limited time, so do not wait. If you have been interested in getting the Edge Finder for yourself, there has never been a better time to do so. This sale is not going to be coming back anytime soon. 40% off. It is the absolute biggest sale that we do right now for a very limited time. So go ahead, get your access right now. 40% off, code A1YT on the Edge Finder. Go check it out for yourself. But let's go ahead and remove these neutral biases because we want to focus on just our buy and sell biases as we pick out a currency pair to break down today. And we have a pretty short list, only 3 sells with no more strong sells. AUD USD was a strong sell for a very, very long time, a couple weeks actually, and it's finally broken down out of that strong sell bias and is just barely hovering around a sell bias with this score of -3. Let's remove any indices or commodities that we might have. Looks like just gold was listed as a buy there. Gold was the only commodity that we had. So here we go. These are all the currency pairs that we currently have listed as a strong buy or strong sell, or excuse me, buy or sell, and we have just one strong buy. It's CHF JPY with a score of +7, and I think that that's going to be our pair for the day because it's our only strong bias. So let's go ahead and check out CHF JPY and figure out what's giving it this strong buy bias. So here we go. Strong buy bias, like I've mentioned, score of +7. COT data is actually a 0 or a neutral score, and retail sentiment is a score of +1. We can get into those numbers right over here. So COT data or institutional trader data, currently both favored short on the yen and the Swiss franc. Institutional traders or smart money traders, however you refer to them, are both favored short on both the yen and the Swiss franc at the moment. 86.76% short there on the yen, 71.65% short there on the Swiss franc. That's why we're getting that 0 score. Retail sentiment, on the other hand, is 91% favored short, just 9% long there from the retail traders. Our seasonality is a score of +1, and we can see here that in the month of April, historically speaking, when you isolate just the month of April over the last 10 years and see how CHF JPY has trended, you'll see that it has trended just a little bit bullishly. And now, I don't normally talk about seasonality as a look ahead, but it's clear to me that over the last 10 years, when you go from April to May to June, there's clearly a nice little trend here. So this could be one to keep an eye out for over the next month, 2, 3 months potentially, for some nice long trades, as it does seem to historically continue to be bullish throughout these 3 months. So I'm just going to throw that out there. We'll see if that continues to be the case in these upcoming months as well. But let's look at our trend reading, a score of +2 here, and we can see this thing was trending really, really well, had a really nice upward move here before coming back down a little bit since then. But price forecast does project that it will continue to move upwards based on all of this other data that we're pulling in here. Speaking of that other data, we can finish up with our fundamental data, GDP growth, a neutral score, and then inflation, unemployment, and interest rates, all scores of +1 here. So let's take a look at that. Both Japan and Switzerland's GDP growth currently sitting at 0%. Japan's inflation 3.3% compared to Swiss 2.9%. Unemployment in Japan 2.6% compared to 2.1% in Switzerland. And lastly, interest rates on the Japanese yen negative 0.1% compared to 1.5% on the Swiss franc. So there we go, a quick breakdown of CHF JPY, currently our only strong bias in the Edge Finder, a strong buy bias score of +7, and there we go.
So let's see, in terms of chart setups, long oriented stuff, Swiss yen, strong buy. What's going on with Swiss yen? CHF JPY has a really strong bullish reading here. The chart definitely looks good. You've got a nice upward trend, right? We broke clean through resistance here. So that could offer some support. Now this is higher time frame stuff, because this would be, you're waiting for like a retest of the 61.8% retracement. That would be the ideal buy. So this is an idea based on the Edge Finder today. And again, how do we read that? Well, we go to the watch list page. The watch list page shows us assets to consider and the confluence factors that you can see. I love when you get a chart like this where it's CHF JPY is all across the board blue, meaning every factor that we track, COT data, retail sentiment, seasonal trends, is all pointing towards bullish factors for the Swiss yen. Euro yen is pretty close as well. Let's take a look at the Euro JPY here and see if there's anything this morning. Euro JPY, I love this chart. Very clean chart. In fact, if I was more bullish on the euro, I would rather take the euro against the Japanese yen than I would the euro against the US dollar. So if I'm looking at this chart, the question is this one a buy? Well, I do like it long. This is a 4-hour chart. If you're going from a longer term swing trading perspective, that 38.2 looks really good. Really, really clean. And whether you guys are trading, if you guys are trading on the 15-minute chart, the 1-hour chart, whatever, the technicals that I employ in my trading are really, really straightforward and simple. I don't try and make I don't have like a secret algorithm, like trading vehicle when it comes to technical analysis. The simple stuff has worked for me for years. There's no need, in my opinion, to overcomplicate it. I involved, though, however, what is a little bit more complicated is, of course, the fundamental and sentiment analysis, which is actually what tells me which things to trade, right? Technicals just show me entries and exits, right? So let me break this down really quick. So I know for the regulars, you're very familiar with this, but for the newer people, I use 3 components to my trading. Everyone is familiar with TA, which is technical analysis. Everyone here is familiar with price patterns, support and resistance, trends. Everyone in the retail industry talks technicals. Where most people do not go is the harder stuff, fundamental analysis, right? Understanding GDP growth and inflation and what the Federal Reserve is likely to do in their next monetary policy meeting. That's the stuff on this channel that I think a lot of people subscribe to the channel for. Is they subscribe to the fundamentals because it's not very talked about, but very, very important. And then finally, sentiment analysis, which is pulling up institutional reporting. Which things are banks buying and selling? In its simplest form, this tells us what banks and retail are doing. What are they buying? What are they selling on average? And that information is critical. So these 2 things allow me to build a directional bias. Okay. So let me clarify something. This technical analysis allows us to look for entries and exits, but it does not tell me direction. I do not base my trading directionally wise off of a chart. I base it off of what is told in the fundamental and sentiment analysis process that I do. This shows me long or short. These things tell me long or short. Do I want to be long the pound? Do I want to be long gold? Do I want to be short the euro? Right? These things tell me direction. Technicals just are the red and green lights. They just tell me when to get in, when to get out, how to manage a trade, how to manage risk. Does that make sense in the chat? Let me know. Type yes in the chat if you understood what I just said, with technicals being an entry and exit indicator and fundamentals and sentiment analysis helping to guide which direction we're actually going to trade in. Does that make sense? Type yes in the chat if that makes sense to you here today.
Don't forget to check out the links in the description if you want our broker recommendation, access to our free Discord, free Edge Finder, or want to chat with us on Telegram. Remember, you can watch us live in the markets every morning starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have lots more free trading tools and content available on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching.